There is a misconception in society. When a woman gets involved in an affair, she is quickly judged. She has a character problem. She has no morals. She destroyed her family. But the reality is much deeper. In most cases, it doesn't start with the body. It starts with the mind. And when the mind breaks, then the body also loses its way one day. This is the story of one such woman. A woman who never wanted an affair. A woman who only wanted to be seen, to be heard, to be loved. But when she didn't get that, she lost her way. This is Sarah's story. Imagine a beautiful suburban house on the outskirts of Chicago. White picket fence, a flower garden in the yard, 2 cars in the garage, and the family photos hanging on the wall, where everyone is smiling. But inside that house, a woman is dying every day, silently, quietly, without telling anyone. Her name is Sarah. Age, 60. Married Shuba years. 2 children, a daughter, a son. Sarah's husband, David, a successful businessman, a good man, a responsible father of the family. But David has one problem. He doesn't see his wife. Sarah wakes up at 6 a.m. every morning, makes breakfast for the kids, gets them ready for school, irons David's suit, reminds him of meetings. And David? He sits with a cup of tea in hand, scrolls through his mobile phone. He doesn't ask, "Sarah, how are you? Did you sleep well last night? Your new dress looks great." She says nothing because David is physically present, but mentally he's been gone for years. One evening, Sarah goes to her husband. "David, can we talk for a moment?" David stares at the TV. "About what?" "I think we're drifting apart," Sarah says. "You don't talk to me. You don't look at me. I'm invisible." David sighs. "Sarah, I work 60 hours a week. This house, the car, the kids' college money, I'm responsible for everything. What more could you want?" "I want you," Sarah says softly. "I want me to feel important." David rolls his eyes. "You're being dramatic." And he looks back at the TV. Sarah lies in bed that night, staring at the ceiling. Her husband is by her side, but she has never been so alone. Sarah has tried, speaking, crying, screaming, pleading, staying silent. Nothing has changed. This was not a one-day event. It was the accumulated pain of years. Her birthdays were forgotten. Their wedding anniversaries felt like a boring duty. Her opinion was ignored in family decisions. He no longer wanted her physically. He dismissed her dreams as unrealistic. And slowly, Sarah was broken. An invisible break. A break that no one saw. A pain that no one heard. One day, Sarah stood in front of the mirror. She looked at herself. There were dark circles under her eyes. Her face was devoid of any radiance. The woman who once smiled. Where is she today? Sarah asked herself, am I still alive, or am I just existing? Every Tuesday, after Sarah dropped the kids off at school, she went to a coffee shop. She ordered a vanilla latte. She sat by the window. She stared blankly. One Tuesday, a man comes to her table. Is anyone sitting here? His name is Mark. Age, 45. Divorced. Father of 2. He has no ill intentions. Sarah shrugs. Sit down. Mark sits down. Not flirting, not saying anything rude. He just says, "You seem upset. I'm a good listener. If you ever want to talk, I'm here." Sarah doesn't say anything that day, but the next week, she starts talking. And Mark listens, really listens. He asks, "How's your day? What do you like? What are your hobbies? What do you dream about?" Sarah feels, for the first time, someone is watching her. Someone is taking her seriously. Someone is evaluating her as a person. Mark has never crossed a line. She didn't want anything physical. But she filled a huge void in Sarah's heart. One day, Mark texts, "Thinking of you. Hope you're having a great day." Sarah looks at her phone. Her heart beats fast. She knows it's wrong, but she can't stop. Because Mark gives her what David hasn't given her in years: acceptance, value, self-respect, a sense of being alive. Sarah asks herself, am I really that bad? Am I really a bad wife? Or am I just a human being who wants to be human? But she doesn't know the answer, because when you listen for years, you're worthless. You forget to recognize yourself. One evening, David sees Mark's message on Sarah's phone. He's furious. "What did you do?" he shouts. "With me, with our family, with our children? I gave you everything." Sarah stares calmly. There's no anger in her voice, just exhaustion. "David," she says, "when was the last time you asked me how I was doing?" David is stunned. "When was the last time you held my hand? When was the last time you told me I was beautiful? When was the last time you listened, really listened, without checking your phone?" David has no answer. Sarah continues, "I didn't plan this. I never wanted it. But you left me alone in our own marriage. I was in a house among 4 people, but I was completely alone. And when someone showed me who I was again, I couldn't let go." David understands his own failure. He understands. He wasn't just busy. He wasn't just tired. He was selfish. He wasn't just forgot. He stopped caring. And his wife, the woman he married, the woman who was the mother of his children, was slowly dying in their own home. But what does society do? Society blames Sarah. Adult, characterless, ethical. But the question should have been, how did she get there? Who pushed her there? Did we see her, heard her, loved her? Sarah's story is not every woman's story, but her feelings, the feelings of many women. The first reason, emotional neglect. The husband is physically present, but mentally absent. No words, no care, no feelings. This long loneliness one day pushes her to someone who listens to her. The second reason, lack of recognition. Women don't want much. They want someone to understand them, someone to say, "You are important." When the husband doesn't give it, and someone else appreciates a little, then it becomes a terrible illusion. The third reason, marital boredom. The same routine every day. No emotion, no romance. A woman's mind also wants feelings. She wants to feel love. This boredom sometimes pushes her to make wrong decisions. The fourth reason, long-term suffering. Many women endure insults, neglect, harsh words, or abuse for years. At some point, they completely break down, and then anyone who shows a little affection, they consider him a safe haven. Fifth reason, social media. Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp. Today's communication is very easy. An inbox. "Hey, how are you?" These small words fill a long emptiness in a woman's mind. Sixth reason, loss of self-esteem. When a woman repeatedly hears, "You can't do anything," "You have no value," then she forgets herself. And if someone comes and values her anew, she gets stuck there. Women's extramarital affairs are rarely planned. Most of the time, it is a reaction to neglect. When people don't get love, people look for affection, and one day she becomes a stranger. What is the solution? Feel your wife not just as a responsibility, as a person. Listen to her. Try to understand her a little. Value her feelings. Don't be stingy in expressing your love. Remember, where there is love, there are no strangers. If David had listened earlier, if he had understood earlier, if he had seen earlier, then maybe Mark would never have come into Sarah's life. But David understood too late. Sarah lost her way too late. And now, they both stood with broken hearts. A woman who gets involved with a stranger, she doesn't suddenly become bad. She breaks down slowly, day after day, year after year. Ignorance after neglect, silence after silence. And when she finds solace in a stranger, she has long since grown tired of crying alone in her own home. So before you judge her, ask yourself, did we see him? Did we hear him? Did we love him? Because love is not just a promise made on the wedding stage. Love is a daily choice. And when that choice is closed, the heart looks elsewhere. The question should be, why do women get involved with strangers? But are we brave enough to ask that question? Or are we just comfortable judging? That's where Sarah's story ends. But how many Sarahs in the world are still crying silently? There is no end to it. Maybe today, in the room next to you, your wife is crying silently, and you don't know it because you haven't listened, you haven't seen, you haven't loved. But there is still time. It's not all over yet. Start today. Listen, see, love. Because love is the only solution. Love is the only way. And when you find love, no one is a stranger.